Hi everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me. And as you saw from the pictures previously, I'm going to call it a Hexagon Triple Pleat card. So as what I've been doing lately, I'm going to show you how to do the card base, and then I'm going to use my craft stash to decorate and fill it up. So let's get started. We'll start with the main base. So first of all, we're definitely going to need a hexagon. And we're going to need a rectangle. I'm going to do this as a 6x6. The height is what we need. Hexagons are not square shaped. The height we need is at 6. So that's the height we want. We want this rectangle. I'm going to untick maintain aspect ratio because we want this to be 3 inches wide but 6 inches high, and we're going to fit it together. But before we do that, to make sure it's in the right place, it's mainly the rectangle, I'm going to go over to my X and Y because I want to make sure we're getting everything in the right place. So make sure your X and Y over here is at 0, 0. We're going to grab the path tool and we are going to do a line. We want this just under an inch because if we do it at an inch, it is going to block everything from folding. So I'm going to do it at 0.9. At least we know where it is then. We're not going to group it yet because we need to add the hexagon so that it's just before the score line, and then we're going to grab both and make sure they're going straight down the middle, which is this one here. Make sure they're in the right place, and then we are going to weld. Now group it so that it's all together, so that's layer group or Control G on your keypad. So that is the main card. Okay, I have to get another hexagon. You could have duplicated to start with. So that is the main base of the card. Now we want quite a few hexagons. I'm going to go back and tick again the aspect ratio. So we want one at 6. So that's going to fit over there, so you get the hexagon shape back. And then if we duplicate, we want one at 5. This one at 4. And one more at 3. And just so I know I've got them all in the right place, I'm just going to centralize them all so I know where they are. Because what I'm going to do is duplicate all of them. And put, so they're going to be the layers, but I'm just going to put them to the side while we work on these. So for this, to add to the card, they need to have panels of strips like this. So let's do the first one, and then I will tell you the sizes for all of them. Okay, I am just going to correct a mistake. That score line should be, I am really sorry, that should be at an inch. It's these ones that are going to be at 0.9. So the width we want is 0.9. And they're all going to be the same width, so they just fit inside and don't catch the score line when we add them. Now the height we want, we're going to untick maintain aspect ratio. We want one at 6. We're going to do the same thing, and what's going to happen is we are going to add the hexagon to the strip. There will be a bit of a cut here, but I assure you it looks nice at the end. So we've got that one's at 6. And all we're going to do again is go down in the size of the hexagons. So make sure your aspect ratio is unticked. And this one is 5. Duplicate again. That one will be at 4. Because they're all the same width, we just need to change the height. And that one's at 3. Okay, so we've got our rectangles. All we're going to do is go over each one and weld them. Make sure they don't go over that line. That is the only thing you need to be careful of. There we go, so it's just before the line. Then grab them both and make sure that they are through the middle, so they're both equal there. And then weld. And there we go. And you'll see it adds on like that. And we are going to do that for each one. Okay, so now we've got, this is all the main card base, okay? So each one is going to go, we'll do the pleat in a minute and I'll show you what I mean. Each one is going to be stuck on top like this. And each one you will do a little design on. So that's the main bit there. Now we want a square. We're going to tick aspect ratio and we want it at 6 by 6. I'm going to move these out the way because we do need to use the X and Y for this. So I've got it at 0, 0. Now we are going to go in a little bit. We don't need the bottom. And we need the path tool for this. And what we're going to do, we're going to start at the top, and that's your first click, and we're going to go down using your grid to 1 inch. Click again. Now you're going to hold shift and go straight across. If you hold shift, it'll stay straight. Click again. Let go of shift, go diagonal, another 1 inch to the next corner. Hold shift, go again, straight across. Let go of shift, go down 1 more diagonal, hold shift, straight across. Now we're going to go just over, and then we are going to do that, and then join up right at the beginning. Now the shape is going just over the lines, because then we will click on the square so they're both selected and subtract. And as you can see, you're left with like a graph shape. I'm going to put it back in place. And now what we want is score lines all down every one of these points. Now if you want to do it on a scoreboard afterwards, then leave it like that. But if you want to put score lines in, it's just the path tool, go down, double click, make sure it's at 1 inch on the X, and then you're going to do that for every one. Make sure as you're going along that every one is 1 inch ahead. So this one will be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, when you've got them all, next thing to do is to grab them all. Now hold shift and just click on the shape, so we haven't got that, and change them all to your preferred score line, and then Control G on your keypad or layer group. Now display zoom to matte size so that we can get back out. So now we have all the parts. That is the part for the main card. Now this is where we're going to do the layers. So you want to keep one the same size as what you've done the card, so that you can define the shape on these parts, not them parts, on these parts. You want to define the hexagons. So that will be on there in a different colour to the base card, and it will mean the hexagon will show up. You could do it on foam if you wanted, but if you're trying to keep it flat, then you don't really want to do that. The first size you want to keep the same, and then for each one you are going to offset inward. You can do 08 on the Christmas one in the pictures at the beginning. I done 08. I'm going to try a 12 this time, and then you want to do it all again. So you want to click, so you got the front one there, click, every front one, and do it all again. I think I prefer the 12. I've done the 08 on the Christmas one, and you could hardly see the difference in the packaging. So these are all 3 sizes for the layers of all 4 hexagons. So when you're cutting them out for the main outside one, I'm just going to separate them now. I'm going to separate them into their 3 individual parts. So there you have it. So this is the main layer, and you can cut it exactly as it is, because it's not going to, the rest of it is not going to be seen. So rather than having to find big enough card to do all 4, you can cut it just like that and just use each frame. Same as this one. This is the second layer. You can do the same thing. It's only the front layer, whatever you want to do, has to be whole hexagons, so that one you have to separate on the paper like that. But this one you can just cut them all out of one giant hexagon, because they're going to be layered up. It's double helpful because it will save your card, but it will also thin the card out as well, because you haven't got so many layers stacking. So I'll show you what I mean when I'm over at the craft table. So the front layer, the smallest layer, needs to be done individually. The other 2 can be done exactly as they look now, one inside the other. One extra thing I'll just show you, because I got one ready previously. There it is. So I done one with a sentiment on, and it is the front layer of the hexagon. It's a little bit bigger because I've done as an 08, not a 12, but it is the front layer of the hexagon. And I've just filled it with the sentiment. If you want to do that, that's when you do it, so that it can draw it out. So as you can see from my sentiment, mine is going to be honeycomb and bees. I have used this from the Tad Lace magazine, issue 4, I think. And that one's from issue 18. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them yet. I think they might be a bit big. I want some daisies in it. But that's the honeycomb paper from the Tattered Lace magazine. So that's all the parts you need. I think I've got everything in there, so I will see you over at the craft table.
Okay, so I'm over at the craft table. I've cut it all out, and what I've done, I've left it as I've cut it so I could explain to you better. These 2, you can see I've cut the hexagons as they were on the map. And the reason for that is, as you take each piece and layer it up, you will eventually not notice the middle piece missing. So you save a lot of card that way. And then when they eventually each go on the card, they're going to make it not as thick, because there are a lot of layers, and it helps with the thickness as well. So that's why I wanted to leave that like that, just to show you. Okay, so I will put the pieces together quickly. So first of all, you've got this main part with the little fold there. When we do this part, you've got to be careful that you are doing it the right way. And the reason I say this was my practice one. and I done like a Christmas theme. I did love it, but I put it on the wrong way here. So what's supposed to happen is that the card starts here, but because of the way I have added this piece, I've done it so that the fold goes that way. So these don't line up with that, and you've got an extra inch on the card. So be careful the way you're adding it on. So what you need to do is make sure that this point going down is against the card like this, and you're going to stick them together on the fold there, and then that way it's all facing the right way ready. So if I do that first, just to show you. And you're just going to make sure it's all meeting there. Make sure it meets on the bottom, because that's the important bit, because that's where it's got to stand. So once you've done that and it's glued, all you need to do is cut off that tiny corner. It's easier to do it once you've glued it rather than in the canvas or beforehand, so that you've got it exact. And there you have the base of the card, like that. So now all it is adding each piece, sizing down, and it will fit in there just short of the score line, so that you can fold the next piece down. And all you're going to do is add all them to each piece. You'll see it fits exactly, and then this one just goes straight on the front like that. Okay, there we go, and that is the base of the card. That is how it should look. And you see it opens like that. You'll obviously have a lot more weight card on it. So if I now show you the difference, so that you can see is equal sizing, whereas this one you can see has got a big gap before the next three, which are equal to each other. So that's the mistake I made. I can fold it in, but it's still, and it looks weird there as well. So that's the, I mean, I'll still use it, but I know that I've made that mistake. So I just wanted to make sure you've all got that right. And then each one is putting your layers on. So we're just going to fold that out. Okay, so that's all the layers laid on. So now you can see where it's coming together. Obviously you're going to let yours dry a bit better. So now you see it looks like that. And then for each layer you just do like a little design. So for the front one, all I've done is a sentiment, which I got it off the Tattered Lace magazine number 18, but I changed it up with the font. I've done it on sticky paper so it's easier to stick together. I coloured it in brown, done a dotted outline, and then I've used fossilised amber just to go around the outside, just so it's not as white. And then that can go on the top. So that's the front. And then for each layer I've done something to add to it. So I had this where's it gone? It's a honeycomb set from Creative Craft Products. This one. I got it not that long ago actually. I think it's fairly new still. And I wasn't sure which way round would work better. That's for this one anyway. But I do think that way works better. And I just add some of the little squares that popped out. I'm just going to put them back in. Just a couple, not many. In odd places. So let's do that one. And then just, so all that stuck on top. And then I'm going to put that there with this giant bee for the back. Although if you don't want to do that, you could do one of the smaller, say that hexagon, and put it on. You can see it gets covered by this one, and you could put it on and do your insert that way. So that's always an idea. Okay, so let's get this back on. We now only have this one to decorate. Which I was going to do a sentiment for, and I haven't decided which one yet, like a personal sentiment. And I've also got these little bees that I stamped out. It came with this big one that I thought would be cool, but maybe have them going off there. So we'll do one stuck right there. That fits quite nicely there. This one can go up here because it looks like it's in flight. And this one we'll do down here. So we've got 3 of the 4 done. Yeah, that will be for personal sentiment because I'm not sure who it's going to yet. But that gives you an idea of what you can do. And look how different it is to the Christmas one. I mean, there's a big difference. The same card, but it looks very different. There we go. I mean, you can use any shapes you like. I really like the hexagon. I think it really suits it nicely. What I was thinking afterwards when I was like finding things for the bees and the daisies, it might have been nice to do a flower shape as well. But once you've got the spine, you can add any shape you want to it. It makes no difference really. So I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry it took so long to get this video out. I actually got COVID while I was making it, so all better now, but yeah, I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.